In this video, we're taking a look at the multiple chances of snow across the U.S. moving forward as several big-time storms work their way in. A massive blast of Arctic air is coming, and the weather pattern is getting ready to change dramatically. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. Some of you guys are like, what? Wait, who is this guy? I thought he fell off the face of the earth. Well, no, I'm still here, and if you don't follow my other social media accounts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that stuff, and if you haven't seen any of my posts on here, you probably have been wondering where I've been, and I'm going to use a small portion of this video to explain that because I think it's an interesting story. But if you don't care and you just want to hear about the weather, I completely understand, and I've got chapters and timestamps in the description if you want to skip around to the parts of the video that pertain to you. Okay, so most of you probably don't know this, but I am an avid enjoyer of Halloween. I love it. I've been a big fan ever since I was a little kid, and as an adult for the past several years, I have been slowly collecting animatronics and Halloween props, amateur and professional props that you would use, if you were making a haunted house or something like that. And what I usually do is I'll throw up a haunted tunnel in my driveway in front of my house, and I'll put everything in there, and you have to walk through it if you're a trick-or-treater to come get candy, or if you're a friend or a family member and we have like a little Halloween get-together here, and you have to walk through that to come in, and everybody loves it. Everybody has a blast. It's usually a lot of work to set that up, but for 2 hours, at the end of October every year, it's really fun. And last year, because of coronavirus, we couldn't do it. There was no trick-or-treat, and obviously we didn't have any sort of get-together. So whatever it is inside of me that feels like I need to do this kind of built up. I was really disappointed that I didn't get to do the haunted tunnel. So this year, all that pent-up Halloween energy needed to be let out. So I decided that I was going to go all out this year, and I very quickly realized that in order to do that, I couldn't do it at my house and not in my driveway. There's just not enough room there, and it just doesn't make sense. And the more that I got to thinking about this, I have this, I hyper-focus on things. I get obsessed with things. The more elaborate and insane my plans became for this, haunted house thing that I was going to do. I didn't even know where I was going to do it. But eventually I realized that I can't do all of this stuff. I was planning like a big thing. I can't do all of this stuff just for my family and friends. As cool as it would be, there's not a lot of stuff around here to do, where I live. So I need to open this up to the public. And that's when I decided to, instead of making a traditional haunted house or a haunted graveyard or a haunted mansion, I'm going to do the haunted double-wide trailer. So we worked it out to where we could use this double wide that was in the middle of nowhere up in the hills in eastern Kentucky, and we built a haunted house up there. And because I was just doing this, because I love it, and I hadn't set up a business for it or anything, we made it a fundraiser, right? So the entry fee was very low, and we took all the proceeds and we're donating it to flood victims in my area in eastern Kentucky. Flash flooding is a big problem here because of the mountains. Inevitably, there will be another major flood event within the next 3 or 4 years. And I think that this is a good way to build up a bank of funds or donate to existing funds so that when that next flood happens, we've got, stuff ready to go. So anyways, I had this idea of a big fundraiser, the haunted double wide, we're only going to be open for a limited time. Well, I posted this idea on Facebook. I made a page for it and everything. I was going to promote it, just slightly on there. And almost immediately it went locally viral. There was a lot of people that were acting like they were going to come for this. People were acting like they were going to travel hours to come to this, because I guess the idea of a haunted double wide trailer, it's a really good name for a haunted attraction. People were very, very interested in it. So in the beginning, when I was first planning all this out, this was in August and September, and I was making videos, live streaming every day. It didn't affect the YouTube channel here at all. But at this point, when I realized that this is probably going to be a big deal and a lot of people were going to come, I started working like 12 hours a day on this thing. And I wanted just to make it this really elaborate experience, because I want this to be a yearly thing. I want to do this not just 1 year. I want to do it every year. So I want to make sure that I impress people. And don't get me wrong, this ain't Disneyland or anything. Like I don't have a bunch of money. Like I didn't have anything, incredible to work with. But we got really creative with the things that we did have. And like I said, I was down there 12 hours a day building the thing. I'm planning, and we had to get volunteers. And there's a lot of just stuff that you have to do to manage an event like this. And unfortunately, because I had made this promise to the community, I didn't have time to make my YouTube videos. But yeah, it took up a lot of time, but it was successful. We had a lot of people come through. It did rain every single day that we did this, and the event was kind of technically outdoors. So that put a damper order on things, but we actually had so many people come that we had to turn hundreds of people away because there were just simply not room for them. The lines were too long. We couldn't accommodate them before, we had to go home. We were just putting the finishing touches on this thing about 30 minutes before the first people walked through. Like, that's literally how tight we were. Yeah, I do think that this is going to be a yearly thing now, but the good news is now I know what to expect, and it won't affect my YouTube posting anymore. So I'm okay. All right, I'm a little sick right now. Echo got sick after the haunted house thing, and so did I. I was getting a lot of messages of people being concerned about me and stuff. I'm fine. Just imagine I took an extended vacation there, and I am back now, okay? Especially for winter. I'm here for the long haul. This is my favorite season. So without further ado, let's get right in to talking about the weather. All right, here's a big old look at the United States of America. And as you can see, there's a lot of rain going on right now on the East Coast. If we zoom in over here on the Northeast, we have a wall of heavy rain moving through Binghamton, Syracuse, and it's going to be moving towards the Albany area in upstate New York as this video goes up. Also, New York City, New Jersey, this area over here, you guys are going to get a bunch of rain. And the further east this moves, the more of this northern trajectory is going to take hold. And it's actually going to stall over here a little bit. So if you're in Boston, New Hampshire, southern areas in Maine, you guys can actually expect probably 2 or 3 inches of rain, isolated amounts like that here and there. So definitely watch out for flooding, especially if you live closer to those mountains and stuff. Also, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather here today. If I zoom in here a little bit, you can see earlier, near Binghamton, we had a tornado warning. So this line of storms that's embedded with this wall of rain is packing a little bit of a punch. So if you're in Albany, Interstate 87 points east, be ready this morning and afternoon for possibly some thunderstorms today. But for the most part, this is just going to be, your regular rainmaker over here in the northeastern portion of the U.S. But that's enough about right now. Let's talk about the future on the weather models. All right, we're going to start out here on the NAM 3-kilometer model, and we're going to be looking at the East Coast here to track this storm out, but we will look at the rest of the country too. If you want to keep up with the date and time, it's always displayed above my head there in Eastern time. But let's get this show on the road. As you can see, at around 10 a.m., around the time this video goes up, these showers and storms are going to be moving off to the east here. Really heavy rain moving up into the eastern New Jersey area near Toms River, all the way up into the Long Island region of New York, and then of course up here into New England as well. Once again, this heavy rain is going to kind of slow down a little bit later this evening, and it's going to culminate. All that energy is going to kind of really amplify here over the East Coast, over portions of eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, central Massachusetts, into New Hampshire and Maine. I'm telling you, this is going to be pretty heavy rain, so watch out for those isolated flooding problems. It's going to be an issue as we go forward. As we get into later this evening, as it starts to get dark, we still got that heavy rain up here in Maine, but it's moved out of most of the populated areas of the East Coast, and our attention is really going to shift over here to this big old something other right here. All right, anytime we're looking at weather models, my eyes always go towards the blue, and this is my favorite time of year to forecast. So we are getting into that portion of the year where some of these heavier bands of snow are going to be working their way further south. Okay, already tonight, around 7 p.m., we could be seeing heavy snow squalls in the central Indiana area, okay? Especially in Michigan here too, east of the lakes there. Really heavy snow squalls are going to be possible as this cold front is going to be crashing through, okay? We're going to see some really cold air move into the Great Lakes region, and then also the south. Once again, it's going to get a little bit colder, and some snowflakes may fly as far south as into northern Kentucky there near Cincinnati around 11 p.m. tonight. So nothing big here. I really don't think we're going to deal with much in the way of accumulation, except for maybe underneath some of those heavier snow squalls there in Michigan. And then, of course, over here in the higher elevations of West Virginia, you guys might see some snow accumulation, but really nothing crazy going on there. Also, as we get later on into Saturday, around 5 p.m. Saturday, up here in the mountains in Vermont and New Hampshire and Massachusetts, the Greenshire area, you guys are going to see, some snowflakes as well. As far as snow goes, we get another little clipper coming down. Look at this, Sunday, 2 a.m., we got some snow, moderate snow there in Minnesota and Wisconsin, also around the Chicago area, and that's actually going to blow up and combine with some moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and really probably cause a decently heavy snowstorm kind of thing from Wisconsin into Michigan, all the way down into central and southern portions of Indiana and maybe even Ohio. This is suggesting that we might be seeing some heavy snow here in Ohio and Kentucky, and maybe all the way down into central and eastern Kentucky by 1 p.m. on Sunday. Okay, so once again, these are maybe heavy snow squalls moving through. And the further north you are in this storm system, the colder it's going to be. So we could actually see a little bit of accumulation with this storm system coming through. And we'll also talk more about what this is going to do further east as we go forward. But as of right now, this is as far as the NAM 3 kilometer can go. Total snowfall amounts look like this. Okay, so from everything we just saw over the next 60 hours, we could see, a general 1 to 2 inches of snow down here from central Minnesota down through much of Wisconsin, and then even into northwestern portions of Ohio and Indiana. Some higher snow totals are possible here in western portions of Michigan next to the lake there. Now, the further south you are, the harder it's going to be to actually measure this snow, especially if you're in central Indiana, central Ohio, northern Kentucky there. All of the more southern areas here where you've got maybe you're going to get an inch of snow or a trace of snow. It's unlikely because temperatures are going to be in like the mid 30s. So even though it may definitely snow, and it may snow heavily, the snow actually sticking is still unlikely at this point. But this is how much we can see fall from the sky. Exciting! And here's a look at the central U.S. as well. I know I left some of you guys out on this. This is also going to affect you. Maybe 2 to 4 inches up here in eastern portions of North Dakota and north central portions of Minnesota, and also a scuff of snow here in South Dakota as well. But really, for the most part, this is just your average entrance to winter clipper type thing. That's more of a nuisance than anything. All right, let's zoom out and go even further out into the future on the Euro model. Now we're looking at the whole United States, and we're starting at Sunday with our clipper that we've been talking about over here in Minnesota and Wisconsin that's going to dig off to the south and east. We also got this big area of precipitation in the Pacific Northwest as well, which we'll talk about more here in a minute, but this is going to bring, more rain and snow to Washington. You see this blue line right here? This is the cold air that's trying to come down behind this low pressure system, and that's once again going to bring much colder temperatures to the Great Lakes region and to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, okay? That clipper is going to combine with maybe a storm system over here off the East Coast and maybe bring some more snow up here into northwestern Maine, okay? But certainly, this is going to bring some much colder air, okay? Low temperatures on Monday are going to be down in the 20s and 30s for a lot of us. But look at this surge of warmer air over here in the western portion of the U.S. or the central and the western portion. This is kind of the story that we're dealing with here. We've got this bulge, this ridge here, and that's allowing for a lot of this colder air and energy in Canada to kind of slide down this way and bring snow and colder air to this portion of the United States. So that's kind of the pattern that we're stuck in right now. And if we continue to push this forward, we get a decent little snowstorm there for northern Maine. But our attention is going to shift over here. This is a major storm. This is our next major storm that we're going to be talking about. On Tuesday at 7 a.m., it's going to be up here in Saskatchewan, a 981 millibar low pressure system, kicking up big time winds and snow and blizzard conditions there in Saskatchewan. And this is really pulling down the cold air behind it. That is a sharp cold front underneath a low pressure system. There's your warm front. You can clearly see what's going on here. A big bona fide storm system is forming. And then once we get here around Tuesday, November 16th, we're literally talking about a full on blizzard here in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And if we go over to the surface wind gusts, this storm is going to be so strong and powerful that even without any sort of precipitation, no storms or anything, we're going to see 50 to 60 mile an hour winds here in northern portions of North Dakota and also in southern portions of Saskatchewan. So this is a classic storm here that's moving into Manitoba. And, if there was a little bit more moisture associated with it, this would have been a full-on blizzard for North Dakota as well. But the main thing that we're going to be dealing with here in the U.S. from this is the massive amount of cold air that's going to be coming in behind it, okay? So this thing just kind of spins like a top here. It pulls up all this air in Canada and then shoves it down into the U.S. as we go later on into November. All right, here we are on Thursday, November 18th. So, we're going down the road into the future here. Things are going to change, but you can see we got this big cold front here, a line of showers and storms moving through the southeastern portion and the eastern portion of the U.S., and then a massive area of cold air behind it. What happens there when you get cold air interacting with warm, moist air around the Gulf of Mexico? We're going to try to see another low pressure system form here that's going to bring even more cold air down. and then maybe, just maybe, our first big time snowstorm of the year for the East Coast there, all the way back on November 19th, 20th, and maybe even into the 21st there, as this looks like, a classic nor'easter. But once again, this is going to change. But this is the next one that we're going to watch. Okay, this is going to be a major storm. It's going to affect somebody, and it's almost certainly going to bring in that big area of cold air. But exactly what happens with all of that? Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button, okay? And then if we go way on into the future, the cold air sticks around, and man, I'm telling you, it's just going to be cold, which is to be expected. Late November into December, we're getting cold. If we go back in time a little bit and take a look at those temperature anomalies, on Tuesday, November 16th, we're going to be a little bit colder than average over here on the East Coast, but much warmer than average over here through much of the central area of the U.S., all the way into the Rockies, even here in Saskatchewan. And then that big storm comes through and literally like a baseball bat knocks that out of the way. And then we get colder than average temperatures plummeting into the central and eastern portion of the U.S. It really kind of pulls up here, and I'm telling you, it's going to be possibly, 15 to 20 degrees below average in some areas here as we go forward into November. And what's going to happen is, as we go further on into the future, Sunday, November 21st, you can see clearly what's happening here. We got another little ridge forming here. We got a pocket of warmer air here. What is that creating? It's creating a tunnel, a wind tunnel for cold air from Canada to kind of just burst into the central and eastern portion of the U.S. So I think our early winter is going to be really active here with cold air and snowstorms for a lot of the central U.S., the Great Lakes region, the Northeast, of course, and then maybe even some areas in the Ohio Valley and Southeast. So if you're a snow lover down there, make sure you stay tuned, because I think we're going to get something this year. All right, last but not least here on this video, I know this is a long video, but hey, it's been like 2 weeks or something, so I wanted to make it a good one, okay? So I got one more thing I want to show you. Speaking of snow lovers, I have created a new weather product for you guys. All right, I call this school closure probability model, or the or the SCP cast. And basically what this is this is a forecast outlook that combines all of the model data in conjunction with local school districts, criteria that it takes for them to cancel school because of snow, and it creates a forecast similar to what you would see from the Storm Prediction Center, with their marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate risk of severe weather. It does something similar to that, but with the chance of school closing in a general area. Okay, so hopefully all those words made sense. I created this when I was in high school, okay, and I only did it for my little local area here in Eastern Kentucky, and that website got thousands and thousands of hits. Okay, like people loved it. Like my teacher showed it in their classrooms, and it got younger people into weather, like kids in high school. But there were people in Eastern Kentucky in 2009 and 2010 who were looking at forecast models and learning about the weather because they were so invested on whether or not we were going to get a snow day. So I think it's really fun, and I figured out a way to do it to where it's mostly automated. I still manually make the graphics here, but I'm working on getting a programmer to help me get that portion automated as well. And when that happens, this will update multiple times a day. As of right now, it's only going to update once a day. If you want to go over to scpcast.com, it's a really basic website right now. It's going to get better. Basically, it only shows these images. There's nothing interactive on there right now. But if you want to go once a day and take a look at the day 2, 3, 4, and 5 school closure probability outlooks, you can do that now. And of course, I will be talking about these in YouTube videos whenever they're relevant. I know that there are some schools that are still closed due to COVID, but for the most part, especially in my area, everything's back to normal. So, hopefully kids are still kind of excited about snow days. I know according to YouTube, the vast majority of people who watch my videos are over the age of 30. So if you're an educator or if you're a parent, let your kids know about this website, and hopefully it gets them interested in, weather. I know I've had a lot of science teachers reach out to me and ask if they could, show this at the beginning of class, maybe while they're talking about meteorology or something like that. And absolutely, please do so. And if you need any help, if you need me to explain anything to you, email me, get up with me somehow. And I want kids to have as much fun with this as we did back when I was in high school, man. This was awesome. I had thousands of kids in Eastern Kentucky constantly refreshing their browsers when it was snowing outside. And I think this is going to be a cool thing, and also maybe even a useful thing as we go forward, because I was always pretty accurate, man. So yeah, how to read this. This is going to be valid for Saturday. So this model, it's especially once it's automated, everything's going to be automatic. So I didn't want to just skip the weekends. But on the weekends, there's not going to be any information here. It's just going to say weekend or holiday. Forecasted SCP values only pertain to weather-related causes. So if your school's closed for some other reason, or something like that, this isn't going to care about that. And the percentages represent the probability of school closing on any given day. And then down here, you can see when it was issued, 8 a.m. Eastern time on 11/11 of 2021. Or I'm sorry, 11/12 of 2021, and it's valid for Saturday, 11/13 of 21. And then more info on scpcast.com. And really, there's not any more info right now, but there will be soon. That website's pretty barren right now. All right, so let's go to the next day. Sunday, same thing, weekend holiday. Monday, probability too low. So right now, there's not enough snow out there to really have anybody having a chance of getting out of school. And then if we go to Tuesday, this is also probability too low. So as we go deeper into winter, this will have more stuff on it, and it'll be more fun. Okay, so make sure you guys check that out and share it around on social media and stuff. I think a lot of people are really going to get a kick out of this. And just to show you what it looks like with stuff on it, this was the issuance for today. And we had some snow last night up here in Minnesota and portions of North Dakota and South Dakota, and you can see there was a slim chance of school closure and a 20% chance way up north here. And the interesting thing is they got a decent amount of snow, and if that much snow was to fall down here, for example, it would be a 60 to 80% chance. So the model automatically recognizes that okay, this snow is falling in an area where they are more prepared for snow and they have more equipment to get it off the roads. So the school closure probability is going to be lower. So once again, I think this is going to be a pretty accurate tool and a pretty fun tool. So go check it out. All right. From now on, I'm only going to mention this if it's necessary, but I think it's fun. All right. All right. I'm done. I've been recording for a long time. I've rambled on a lot. Starting the next video, it's going to be normal, but I'm back. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.